Hello there everyone, my name is Billy and let's talk books. I'm coming to you still slightly unwell. So this morning I woke up and I was like, right, what kind of video would I like to make for this coming week? To let you know, on my kind of January was my birthday. I went away on holiday to Romania, and then when I came home I was very, very unwell. I caught some kind of a stomach virus. I think it was maybe norovirus or something like that. So I've been feeling quite sensitive and just wanting to hibernate and kind of restructure things a little bit. It's also the start of the year and I feel like it's a great time to do those kind of things. I've had a lot of new houseplants arriving that I was gifted for Christmas, and I've been putting all of those together and kind of changing my space up a little bit. So I thought, okay, what else can I do to kind of clear my space and maybe stay at home a little bit, not feel like I have to be too productive, but I can still enjoy some kind of cleansing, some kind of hibernation and renewal. And I thought to myself, I've really been wanting for a while now to organise through my bookshelves, see which books I actually have physical copies of that I haven't got to yet, see how many books I even own in total. I quite enjoy stats and things like that. And I've kind of just, bought things, put them on my shelves you can see just here my collection of Twilight books, which I have not read since I was about 14 years old. So it's just an amalgamation of every book I've ever bought, and I've never really organised them. My shelves are kind of chaos. I just put things where they go. I think a long time ago I might have put them into some kind of order. Like, I know that all my classics are together, but I wanted to go through each of them, tally up how many I have in total, tally up how many I haven't read yet and I still want to read, maybe unhaul some that I definitely don't want to have on my shelves, and then put them all back nice and organised and restructured, and keep going with that whole idea of renewal, hibernation and sorting out the home. So that's what I decided to do today, and I'm going to take you along for the ride and we'll see how we do. I will also show you some of my new plants that I've been busy caring for and welcoming to the home. You can see one behind me here. This one is Hercules because he's a big boy. But yeah, I've got some kind of hydro plants. So I always struggle with keeping plants alive because as much as I love living things in the house, I am a little bit scatty. So I kind of can forget when to water them or what they need. So I've gotten some hydro plants, which should be easier to maintain. They're basically known for growing in rocks, and they have kind of water meters which tell you when to water them, and they need watering a lot less often. So yeah, that's what I've been up to really. I'm just really excited to kind of talk through some of the books that I have and organize things properly. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and hopefully by the end of this video my brain and my space will feel much less cluttered and we can kind of get back on track for a new week. So with that being said, then I'm still trying to figure out kind of how I want to do this, but I think what I will do is maybe start at one end, go through each of these shelves, see what books I kind of have on there. I will tally down how many I have and how many I need to add to my physical TBR. Maybe at the end of this video we can then start a project of whistling those down. I love those series on BookTube where people spin a wheel and slowly get through their physical TBR. I think it's a great idea and a great way of kind of reading some of the stuff that you already have in the home. So I might do something like that. There was a magpie, I don't know if you do that, but that's what I do. Hello, Mr. Magpie, where's your wife? That's what I always say. Anyway, I am gonna always be one of those people that's like butterfly, so please ignore me. Maybe I'll edit it out, but maybe I won't. Maybe it'll be fun. I'm gonna stop here and have a little think, and we will get started on the first shelf soon. Okay, so we are gonna start in this corner, and we're gonna go through this little chest of drawers here, this kind of 4-piece here that I have, and go through those books first, see what we have. So let's get going, shall we? Right, I have, as I said, some plants that I cannot keep a hold of. So this little cactus that I have here is not doing so well. Maybe I need to pay it some attention. Oh, and look at that. That needs a wash. Right, so let's get rid of my nice little incense collection that I bought in Spain, I believe. They are great. They smell fantastic. And get to the books. Okay, so first off we have this Jacqueline Winspear book, and this is Maisie Dobbs. When I worked at the library, I saw this series a lot. It was really, really popular, and it was in the crime section, and it's kind of like a murder mystery series with a female main detective set during World War II, I believe. Okay, no, set after the First World War. So yeah, I picked this one up at a little car boot sale, which I just adore. How fun are car boot sales? I don't know if you have these everywhere in the world, but in the UK it's like people just go and kind of set up a little stall and sell some of their like knickknacks that they have at home. So I think I got this for like £1 from a car boot sale, and I picked it up because it was the first in the series and I thought I would give it a go. Seems really fun. I'm just realizing as well, if I talk through literally every book in my home, this is not going to go very well, so it might end up being about a 10-hour video. But what we will do is just talk about some of the main ones. Okay, but I have not read this one. Then I have a collection of Lovecraftian tales, The Call of Cthulhu and Other Weird Tales, because I mentioned to a friend of mine at the library as well that I wanted to get a little bit more into Lovecraft, and so he brought me his collection. He had a spare one and that was really lovely, so I really want to get to that. Next is The Stone Thrower, which is a collection of short stories by Adam Marek. I went to a talk where this author was delivering a talk, but I still have not got to this one, so that's a non-read. Okay, next up we have The Thursday Murder Club, which I have indeed read, so that can go on my read pile. Really enjoyed that, very British. Next is Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill. I was obsessed with Louise O'Neill as a teenager. She kind of writes like very feminist fiction, but for a YA audience, and it was just something I hadn't seen before done in such an elegant way. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to reread this. I think I will do this during that series of reading my favourites as a teenager. Okay, I've got Girl in Pieces here as well, which I have not read yet. Catch-22. I have still not read Catch-22, so I need to get to that. This must be my partner's, Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is not mine, but, you know, I still need to watch Avatar. Yeah, but this one is not mine, so I'm going to put that in a separate pile. Then we have Philip Pullman's Grim Tales. I've been really dying to read Grim Tales. Does anybody remember that children's film? It was called The Brothers Grimm, and I used to watch it as a child and it terrified me. It kind of had like witches, and like these young girls kept being kidnapped so that the witches could suck their beauty away from them, things like that. But I remember that movie just really terrifying me as a child. Is that related to Grim Tales? Anyway, I picked this up because I wanted something that I could just read at nighttime, kind of one story at a time. And I'm also just really fascinated in how fairy tales have changed over time. Because of course nowadays I see them as like Disney tales, or it's all light and it's all airy, whereas I know that it kind of was just very different back in the day. So like Hans Christian Andersen, Grim Tales, I really want to get to, but I have not yet. Okay, Peter Robinson, Careless Love. I do not know where I picked this up. This was a free book, actually, from the library. They had a literary association come in one day, and they were giving this away. So, yeah, I think that's a little crime novel. And then we have A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. Absolutely love this one. I wrote an essay on this, and its depiction of time. Really love it. I'm pretty sure I have 2 copies of this because I believe this is my partner's copy. But yes, I have read that. So, okay, the first shelf, we have 1 which is not mine. We have 3 that I have read. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I have not read. Now, I need to decide how I'm going to be putting these back now, because I'm really in 2 minds, because part of me is like, do you know, I really enjoy kind of the chaotic nature of just, this is where I'm going to place this one. I'm just going to put it here, and you never really know where things are. Like, it's kind of fun. But then at the same time, I also really like an organised shelf. So what do I think? Do you know what? I actually think I'm not going to organize this too much. It very much depends on the vibe I'm going for, but in the home, I like to have kind of things that will inspire my creativity. I like kind of to be stimulated by things, and so the idea of having my collection be really specifically organized feels like a bit stifling to me. It's strange because honestly, you could ask me on another day, and the thought of having everything completely in alphabetical order gives me so much joy. I used to feel that way at the library, just making sure everything was completely perfectly in order. But I think for the time being, I'm going to keep it nice and simple and just put things back where I found them without too much rhyme or reason and just go with the vibes. I'm just going to go with the vibes. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I do want to keep all of these. I tell you as well, I've just noticed that I have another version of Catch 22, which is actually in better condition. So I think we will get rid of this one and keep the other one. We will unhaul that and put that into the little free library in my village. Okay, the next section we have Tell the Wolves I'm Home. I believe this was gifted to me and I have not read it yet. The Covenant of Water I have read. That was one of the multi-generational texts that I did my dissertation on. Kingdom of the Wicked. Oh, that's got a lot of dust on it. Let me get rid of that. Kingdom of the Wicked. I think I picked this up as a kind of book talk recommendation, but it was quite a while ago. So yeah, I have not read that one yet. Breasts and Eggs by Meiko Kawakami. This one seems really, really good. Then I have Salvage the Bones by Jasmine Ward, which I have indeed read. Okay, we have the Shadow and Bone trilogy next, which I have now completed. Women Who Run with the Wolves. This again was gifted to me, kind of a collection of short stories. I think it's a feminist text, but I have not got to it yet. And then we have a self-help book here, but this one's Losing Young, How to Grieve When Your Life is Just Beginning. And I've been trying to find the right time to get to this one. I lost a parent, well, a grandparent, but a parent. I was raised by him quite young, so that's always been something that, I've been dealing with and trying to work through. So yeah, I was recommended this one. And I think I've read a couple of chapters of it, but I still haven't got quite too far into it. I think this is by the authors of, yes, this is the founder of the Grief Network podcast, and I have listened to a bit of that as well. It has a lot of podcasts with celebrities and figures and different people who talk about grief, and it's not just done in kind of like a really sad way. There's a lot of lightheartedness and humor, and very much you feel like you belong and somebody kind of understands. And especially this one, I remember from reading it, it really highlights that feeling of grieving when you're still a child or a young adult and you don't really know what that means or how to deal with it, and everybody around you just feels so different to you. So even though I have not finished it yet, I do highly recommend this. If it sounds like something which you might find comfort in or you might benefit from, I need to get back to this. I feel like I'm in a better place to read it now. So yeah, that is that one. And okay, so that is this shelf. We have, we'll count this as 3. So we've got 3, 4, 5 that I have read, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I have not read on this shelf. Okay, and now we'll move on to the big boy, my giant cabinet full of books. But we will start on this section. I think we will still continue to go one at a time, but yeah, let's see. So in our first stack of books, we have got this Summers of the Sisterhood, which I think is like a Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants story. And I remember a friend gave this to me because I watched the movie and absolutely loved it. And I wanted to read the books. And my friend gave me this one. But I don't think it's the first one in the series. So I didn't want to read it because I have a bit of a like obsession with needing to read things in order, even if it doesn't matter that much. You know, like romance series, I'm a little bit like weirded out by picking up the second or third book in a series. So I do have this one and I would like to read all of these. Maybe I can do it all in one go actually, because like I say, I remember watching the movie thinking it was just going to be another silly teen romance that I would really enjoy and then being really moved by it. So I'd like to get to that. Me Before You, I have read. The Power of Six, I think this is the second in the I'm Number 4 series, which I really enjoyed as a child. I think I have read this one. And then I have Four by Veronica Roth. I think that's like a little collection of stories about Four from Divergent. I believe I have read that as well. Talking of, I have Insurgent here as well, but that's the only one I have apparently here. So maybe the others are somewhere else on my shelf and then we can put those back together. So that is Insurgent. Nerve, I remember I have read this. I think it was a bit trash, to be honest. Is this one I would unhaul? Yeah, I don't think I would reread this one and I don't think I need it on my shelves. So I think I will get rid of that one. This one, I Feel Bad About My Neck. And Other Thoughts on Being a Woman by Nora Ephron. I picked this one up because I wanted to kind of go through the 100 best books of the 21st century list. I can't remember which list it was, but I think this was number 100. And I started going through it and then I wasn't too much of a fan of it. I struggle with memoirs, so I did struggle with it, but you know what? I would like to go back to it, so I will keep this one. The Sky is Everywhere. I think I've read this, but I don't remember it at all. Yes, I've definitely have read it. Asking for It, this is another Louise O'Neill that I absolutely love. A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, I have read. Panic. Yeah, I think this one I read because I read this one and then I read Nerve. I'm going to keep it though. Do you know, I will keep Nerve as well because maybe it can be a fun little thing where I go back over some old YA and just see how I feel about it. A lot of these I have as well and I've read, but I literally couldn't remember them at all. So it could be good for rereads. I won't count them on my physical TBR, but they could potentially be rereads. The Hand of the Baskervilles, Sherlock Holmes. Have I read this? I don't think so. I don't think I have. The Rosie Effect. I've read The Rosie Project, but I have not read The Rosie Effect. I don't know if I still have that one here, but things I wish I'd known back when I thought I knew it all. Okay. I have not read this. Shantaram. I have not read. That one was gifted as well. Earthfall. Mark Walden. No, I have not read this. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Also not read. And The Girl of Ink and Stars, also not read. Okay, so that's that shelf. About half and half, I would say, of read and have not read. Finding that there are a lot of these that I have like some of a series and then not others, but it's not even like I just have the first in a series. It's like I have the middle of the series, which is strange. Maybe I need to kind of like try and fill those out. Yeah, I think I will do that at some point. So just on the top, we're not going to talk about it much because I don't want to, but I was gifted this version of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban for my birthday quite a while ago now by some friends of mine, and it's like the graphic edition. It's really gorgeous, but yes. Okay, All the Birds in the Sky, I have not read. The Old Curiosity Shop, I have not read this one. This one was given to me by a friend as well because she told me that it follows a girl who lives with her grandfather, and that's how I grew up as well. She said that she got me this one because it reminded her of me, and I still have not read this. I'd really like to. I picked this one up, The Librarian, because I was a librarian and I just wanted to. Disgrace by J.M. Coetzee, I'd really like to read, but I have not yet. The Picture of Dorian Gray. This is a really strange cover. Does Ben Barnes play Dorian Gray in a movie or something? That's crazy. I'm going to need to watch that. He looks really young. I think it is Ben Barnes. It looks terrible though. Look at this. Absolutely terrible cover. I have read Dorian Gray, but I read it when I was 17, I think, so it was a long time ago. I'd like to reread it. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, again given to me. I have not read. Tuesdays with Maury, I read half of, but I'd like to go back to it and finish it. Half Bad, I have not read. Catch 22, I have not read, and that is my other copy. I said I had two, so this is my other one. Like, they're both a little bit battered, but this one looks a bit better. I think maybe my partner had a copy as well. The Silence of the Girls, I'm really keen to read this one. Oh, Atonement as well by Ian McEwan, another one I'm really keen to read. This one is Crooked Kingdom, which is Leigh Bardugo. Is this the second in the Six of Crows duology? If so, that's great, because I didn't think I had that. A Grecian novel, or is this the other duology that she has? Yeah, I think this is the sequel to Six of Crows, so that's really good news. And I have Travellers in the Third Reich, which is all about fascism and people travelling into Germany during the time of the Nazis. I have not read. Sister, have not read. The Underground Railroad was supposed to read for uni, but I did not get to it. I'd really like to read it though, so yes. I haven't read like any on this shelf, that's quite bad. The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. Philip Pullman is the writer of The Golden Compass, right? Or is it The Northern Lights? Is it called The Northern Lights? Is The Subtle Knife part of that universe? Is the second part of a story in 3 volumes which was begun in Northern Lights. Okay, yes, so this is the second one in the Northern Lights series. I've read the first one. I never read the second one. Unless I picked it up and didn't like it and then stopped reading it. But I'd like to go back to that, so yeah, I have got the second one. I hope I have the first one here as well then, but okay. Again, I just have like some random middle ones in the series. You can tell how long it's been since I've gone through my shelves, can't you? William Gibson, Pattern Recognition. I don't think I liked this one, but I can't remember it too much. I'll put it in my TBR because I don't remember anything about it. There's a certain like area of fiction, I cannot remember the name of it now. I will put it here, the name of the kind of era that this is from. And I remember I don't think I liked it because it was just really like abstract and I just thought it was kind of convoluted, if that's the one I'm thinking of, but yeah, I mean, it's on my shelf, so. Then we have Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I kept saying over and over again in my BookTube newbie video, oh, Fahrenheit 451 is one of my favourite classics of all time. I really love it. And I actually meant Slaughterhouse 5. I always get those two confused for some reason. I think it's because they both have a number in the title, but I meant Slaughterhouse 5. I love Slaughterhouse 5. I have not read Fahrenheit 451 before, so yes, that is what I'm going to need to read. So yeah, there's like practically nothing on this shelf that I have read. Okay, well, let's put them all back. The one thing I absolutely cannot stand though, and I will not stand for, I know I said I want this to be kind of chaotic and just like fun, and I'll have to like hunt for the books when I want to find them, but the one thing I absolutely will not have is a series being in multiple areas of a bookshelf. They need to be next to each other. So I'm keeping my eye on all of those that I have, one in the series, one in the middle of the series, and if I find any more, I will put those together. Don't you worry. Please don't think I'm that much of a disorganized mess. I'm not that far. So our next shelf, we have got The Passions of New Eve by Angela Carter. I loved Angela Carter's Bloody Chamber, so I think I picked this one up for that reason, but I have not read it. Then we have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which I really love. I have read that one. Okay, here is my copy of A Tale for the Time Being. I think I've written like so many notes in this one, so I feel like it's worth keeping both of them because, I mean, let me just show you. I think it would be good to have one for my partner to read if he wants to, that does not have my scribblings everywhere. But yes, I have read that one. Thomas Pynchon, The Crying of Lot 49. No, this is the one, isn't it? Is it Pattern Recognition? So that was the one I was talking about. That was William Gibson, Pattern Recognition. Maybe it wasn't that one. Maybe it was The Crying of Lot 49 that I read and really didn't like, and it was part of that brand of fiction. I have read this. and I didn't like it from what I remember. Samuel Beckett, First Love and Other Novellas. I've read some of these, but not all of them, so I would like to read that again. This is David Foster Wallace, The Girl with Curious Hair. It's a short story collection by David Foster Wallace. I'm gonna unhaul this, I think. I wrote an essay on David Foster Wallace and basically just his ideas, but I do not like his writing. I find it to be misogynistic and infuriating, so yeah, I don't need this one. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Then we have Losing Lila, another second one in the series. Great. I've talked about this before. Hunting Lila is one of my like guilty pleasure teenage reads. That's probably just so terrible, but I loved it so much. It's here. I don't know if I still have the first one. I think I might only have it on a Kindle edition because I couldn't find the first one, but I've got the sequel here. I have read it a long time ago, but I'd like to do that for another series of rereading my old favourite books. Osiris. Dystopia is back. Fascinating. A promising debut. That is the commendation, so that sounds pretty cool. Osiris by E.J. Swift. Yeah, I have not read that. Legend by Mary Lou. I have read as a teenager. Loved. Would like to reread. Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I don't think I liked it that much, to be honest. All the Bright Places I have read. I think I found it very depressing. The Square Root of Summer I don't think I've read. Then I've got Citizen and American Lyric by Claudia Rankin, which I loved. The Perks of Being a Wallflower, absolutely love. The Invisible Guardian, I have read. I think this is one of the only thrillers that I have read, and I enjoyed it. The Girl on the Train, I've also read. The Things They Carried, Tim O'Brien. I read this and the next one as well as part of like a war fiction study at university, but I have read that. Pat Barker, Regeneration, I have read. This one I remember because I always remember the title. It's From Notting Hill with Love, Actually. And those are two of my favourite movies. I love a rom-com and I love Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant. But I think I remember really enjoying this one. I have read it, but not in a long time. Then we have The Outrun by Amy Liptrot. I have read that. And finally, Finding Audrey. I have read. Yes, I have read. Okay, so I read quite a lot on that shelf then. All right, let's put all these back now. Okay, next up we have the next shelf. We have The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I remember going through this phase of like wanting to read loads of really like depressing, teenage angsty books. So I had quite a few of them. I have read most of them, I think, but they're not really my vibe anymore. So I don't think I would enjoy them if I reread them now. But yeah, I have read that one. The Time of My Life, Cecilia Ahern. I have not read. And then I have a copy of Wolfhall by Hilary Mantel here. It's a really old copy. I didn't even know that I had this because I recently bought a new one. Although my new one, the pages started falling out immediately, which really annoyed me because I just bought it brand new for holiday and then I was reading it and it started falling apart. So I never got around to actually reading it. But yeah, so okay, there's a copy of Wolfhall here. I have not read. Stone Cold, Robert Swindells. I have no idea what this even is. Fear stalks the streets. Kids are disappearing, but no one cares. Homeless, frightened and alone, Link finds himself down and out in London. He only survives because he's befriended by streetwise Ginger. When Ginger disappears, Link is in despair. Other kids are vanishing now, and the killer is stalking his next victim. Will it be Link? Okay, so this is children's fiction. It says this book should be included in every children's library. That's interesting. That's interesting to me. Okay, I have not read that. 5 Days to Die. I think I have read this, and I was a bit annoyed by it. It's kind of like a thriller, and I think it's one of those like typical thrillers where it's like, oh, the man is chasing down someone to find his family, but I don't remember anything about it. I think I did read it though. The Descendants, I have not read, I don't think. Nope, I have not read that. The Devil Wears Prada, I've not read the book. Obviously I've seen the movie. Blood Red Road. I remember picking this up because it was like, oh, yeah, it says it right here. It will satisfy the cravings of Hunger Games fans. This book will blow you away. And at the time, I was obsessed with the Hunger Games, so I saw that. It was in a Morrison's, I think. And I just could not get into it, so I have not read this. I like read maybe the first few chapters or something. Beyond Nab End, the sequel to the #1 bestselling The Road to Nab End. Okay, so it's a sequel, but I don't have the first one. Never seen this before. At least I don't remember it. The year is 1933 and William Woodruff, 16 years old and passionately idealistic, is living the Lancashire of his childhood so vividly portrayed in The Road to Nab End. Okay. I mean, I think I'll probably unhaul this one because I don't have the first one. Yeah, so I'm going to unhaul that. Then apparently I have 2 copies of Nerve, the book I didn't even like, so we're going to unhaul that for sure. $1 Million Mates. This looks very, very YA. I think I read this and I thought it was stupid. Jess isn't too sure about moving away from her school friends or her beloved Gran until she learns the apartments are strictly A-list only and soon to be populated by actors, musicians, models and millionaires. A life of glitz and glamour surely beckons, but will her new $1 Million Mates be all they're cracked up to be? Ooh. I mean, that would be a fun read. Let's read it. Why not? We will keep it. Oh, Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, one of my favourite movies. I loved this movie as a teenager. But have I read the book? I think that I did, and I thought it wasn't as good as the movie. I think I have. Maybe I can do that as a books first binge where I can rewatch it and read it. The Emigrants, W.G. Siebold, have not read. And then I have the entire first collection of Percy Jackson series, the Percy Jacksons and the Olympians, books 1 to 5, which I have read. I would like to reread, and I would like to continue the series by reading the rest as well. But yes, I have read that one. And this one is Writing the Future, Essays on Crafting Science Fiction. So this was the talk that I went to, and there were a lot of the authors in this one who were on the panel, and it was basically all about what science fiction is today, why it matters in a contemporary world, like what it means. And I remember one thing that really stuck out to me was this idea that speculative fiction writers is kind of the only way to write now. They basically talked about how, like, with so much changing, so much to do with climate change and politics and the world, like, you can't really write anything if you're not writing speculatively because we're so unsure of the future. So that was really fascinating, but I have not read all the essays in here. I've read some of them. Okay, so we have a couple more to unhaul there, and then a lot that I have read on this shelf, which is good. That's good. So you will be noticing that I'm not unhauling a lot of books, and that is because I'm really picky about getting rid of books that I've bought. I feel like a lot of the books, kind of how I'm explaining them to you here, were bought at a specific time in my life, or I remember picking them up, or I remember why I got them. So it kind of builds this little timeline, like a scrapbook of my life. So I'm really funny about getting rid of some of these, and particularly the ones that I might have read but not for a long time. So what I'm probably going to do is work my way through these. Obviously, I've got the ones I definitely haven't read and then the ones I need to reread as well. And then if I really hate any of them on second time around, then I will get rid of them. So for example, say I pick up the Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging book, like we just talked about, and I read it and I go, okay, this is dumb, I'm never going to read this again, then I will get rid of it. But for now, there's only a few things that are screaming at me that's like, yeah, I definitely don't want to have this. We have moved over to a new spot. We're going to do kind of the middle sections here at the top and bottom. These are where I have some more of my bigger hardbacks and some more series. So yeah, let's get into those. I have this big boy, The Complete Works of William Shakespeare. So when I was going to uni to study literature, I knew I was going to need something this big. Geez, this is dusty, so bad. I normally hate books that have multiple things in one and are huge, because there's something really satisfying to me about reaching the end. It feels like an achievement. It feels like an accomplishment. So when you have something this massive, it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to get to the end. And the text is tiny. I'll show you. So yes, I mean, when you're talking about The Complete Works of Shakespeare, but it's great to have as a reference if you're just okay, I just want to pick out one of his sonnets, or I just want to read one of his plays. Like, yeah, there's just a lot in there, so that's great. I'm going to keep that. The next one here we have is this, which is J.R. Ward, Lover Unleashed. I don't know why I have this. It's not really my thing, but I think it could be a fun time. I feel like I've heard of J.R. Ward before. These vampires are hot, and the series only gets hotter. So hot it gave me shivers. God, okay. This is very much not me. Very much not me, but I think it could be fun to read and just see how much I internally squirm at reading it. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I will. I'm always open-minded. A Black Dagger Brotherhood novel. Now, what I need to know though is like, is this the first in a series? So this is Lover Unleashed. I feel like this is like way later because I'm looking here, the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, Dark Lover, Lover Eternal, Lover Awakened, Lover Revealed. Oh my God, why are there so many? So this is Lover Unleashed. I hate when they don't just say, like when they don't just have a number on the side or something. Okay, yeah, it's definitely not the first in a series. But is this one of those ones where it's like, oh, you can pick up any of them? I don't know why I have this. I don't know where it came from, but we have it, so there's that. I have not read it. We have Casual Vacancy by She Who Must Not Be Named. I am going to be unhauling this. I remember picking it up when it first came out, like literally when it was first published. What year is that? 2012. And I thought it was absolutely terrible anyway. So yeah, that one I'm going to be unhauling. And then another big one we have here is Gone with the Wind, but this is Scarlet, the sequel to Gone with the Wind. Another bloody sequel. What is with me and not having the first in the series? Like, that is what stresses me out. Not having a completed library. Everything else is fine, but this is just really stressful. I remember really loving Gone with the Wind when I was young. Was it like a cartoon or a movie or something? I don't know. But yeah, so this is the sequel. I guess I have the sequel. Oh yeah, this is another thing that genuinely drives me insane and I don't know what to do about it. So I have The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. So I have these two right here, right? And they are the same edition. So we have this cover, The Hunger Games, and we have Catching Fire in this edition. But then I do not have Mockingjay in this edition. But then in the other edition, oh my God, like genuinely makes me want to die. In the other edition, right, I have Catching Fire and Mockingjay, but not The Hunger Games. Like, what? What is that about? I just want one. This is why I haven't thrown any of them away, because I'm like, I've got 2 of this version and I've got 2 of this version. But like, what am I supposed to do with that? I need a complete series, but I also want a complete set of the same. So I don't know what to do about that. I guess I'll figure it out one day. I tell you what I'll do. I'll probably find it in like a charity shop someday and I'll complete one of these collections and then I can finally unhaul the other one. Okay, and then I have my complete collection of Jane Austen novels. Let me see if I can get this a bit closer. My hand is not quite big enough. There we go, the complete set of Jane Austen novels, which I very much like having. I think I have somewhere else like all of them in one, like I say, which I will probably be unhauling because I don't like them all in one book. Like I say, I like to have that feeling of accomplishment. But yes, we have that whole collection there. I then have my copies of Twilight. I have every book in the series. They're a little bit battered, but yeah, I did enjoy Twilight as a young teenager. Not ashamed to admit. Do you know something that I always found really funny though? My granddad loved the movies of Twilight so much. I would always come down and he'd just be watching them on his own. And it made me laugh so much because this is like a man who was like in the RAF, very macho. And any time that one of the Twilight movies was on TV, he'd be watching it. And I just found that hilarious. It was so funny. So next is another ridiculous thing. I have 4 Harry Potter novels. We're going to move past them, but I only have 4 of them because I believe I lent one of them out, one of them fell apart, and one of them, I don't know. But they're very battered, they're very old. I don't have the full series, but, you know, I'm not going to be buying more. So again, maybe if I find them in charity shops one day, I can pick them up. I have Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Half-Blood Prince, and The Deathly Hallows here. And next up we have my Roald Dahl collection. I bought this one for my nephews, just to have here in case they need something to read. God, this is heavy. I'm going to have to put this mic down to pick this up. But yes, that is my Roald Dahl collection. So a lot of these won't be going onto my physical TBR because they're either series that I've already read or sequels. Anything that's a sequel, I'm not going to put on my TBR for right now, I don't think. unless I get the first one. Maybe I can like read the first one and I'll just read the Kindle version and then I can decide whether I want to unhaul it or continue. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, we're going to move up here now, which is going to be a bit more difficult to get to for me, I think. It's a bit higher up. But here is my little version of Wuthering Heights that I bought in Haworth, which is where the Brontes lived and grew up. I went to visit there one year for my birthday. It was so sad because it was like one of the only days that the museum was closed, so I couldn't even go there. But I did buy Wuthering Heights and read it on the moors in the rain, and that was great. So I'm not going to take any of these down. We're just going to kind of like move along and talk about them. Let me just readjust as well. Maybe we'll go like this. Okay, so we have a few gardening books here that were my granddad's that I still have. Then we've got the A Night of the Seven Kingdoms by George R. R. Martin, which is the novella series. They're just making the TV show Night of the Seven Kingdoms now, which I've been very much enjoying. Then I have a couple of Louise O'Neill books here because like I said, I was really a fan of her and I kind of pre-ordered anything that she did. These were her first adult books, I believe. So we've got Almost Love and After the Silence. And I haven't read either of these yet. I think I felt they were just a little bit dark for where I was at the time. Oh, hey, look. Is this the first one? This is Tilla the Travelling Pants. No way. Do I actually have the first one? Yes, I do. Look at that. I'm sure I must have read the first one then. Okay, well, that is very good to know. Also, I now have a bit of space, I think, somewhere. So yeah, let me put this down here. The Sisters of Auschwitz, that is one that I have not read yet. Man's Search for Meaning I have read, very much enjoyed. This is the sort of Shannara trilogy. I talked about this in my recent ranking 50 sci-fi and fantasy series, and this one was on my bottom tier of I do not want to read it at all. And I think one of the reasons again is like I said, I have this huge tome that I was gifted, and it's because it has all 3 books in one, and I genuinely hate that. I hate it. Okay, what's next? This is Sappho and Fan. I must have studied that in uni. Much Ado About Nothing. Studied in uni. And The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. Yes, I studied all of those in uni. So then we have... It's just my little artwork getting in the way. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer here because I feel like you can't see a thing of that I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, let's go with that. That can be kind of better. You can just at least see what I'm looking at. A Torch Against the Night, Saboteur. So that is the second one in the Ember and the Ashes series. Oh my god, right, let's just put that there for now. A Torch Against the Night, the second in the Ember and the Ashes series. I really loved the first one. I started this one and I hated it, but I want to go back to it because I feel like maybe I was hasty. Then we have The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings 1-volume edition. So is this one again that has all of them in one? I think it is. I hate that. But yeah, I've got a lovely edition of The Hobbit. So I should get to those eventually. I will add them to my TBR, I suppose. Then I have a 20th edition of Cloud Atlas, signed edition as well, because it's like my favourite novel ever. J.J. Abrams' S. I read most of this and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, but I don't think I ever finished it. It was fun though. These are the 2 Hunger Games prequels. Between the World and Me I have read. C.S. Lewis, A Grief Observed, I have read. Black Narcissus I have read. Swimming Home by Deborah Levy, I have read. I didn't really like that one. And we've got Kafka on the Shore, I have read. And then I have got my Game of Thrones series up there as well. My complete Song of Ice and Fire. I think Clash of Kings is missing because I'm currently reading it with my partner at the moment. I have another complete works of William Shakespeare here though, which I think I will probably get rid of. So let's see up here. I've got Death Note short stories here. This was a present. This was a kind of Christmas present for me. I need to go back to the series though. I never finished it. But yeah, I would like to finish that series. But yeah, this version of the complete works of Shakespeare, I think I'll be unhauling because like I said, I have another one. This one feels more like an academic textbook. So I will get rid of that one. So we have moved on to our next little gap here, so we're going to go through those ones now. So on this shelf I have a copy of Persuasion again, but like I say, I already have all the Jane Austen novels, so I'll probably get rid of this one. This one's a bit strange as well because it just has like a picture of Anne Hathaway on the front and it says Jane Austen played by Anne Hathaway in a new film Becoming Jane. So like it's not even an adaptation of Persuasion. I'll be unhauling that one. Then we have got The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, which I have not read. I've got a copy of Macbeth, which is probably my favourite Shakespeare. I love Macbeth. Of Mice and Men, which I have read. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, I have read. I have another copy of Wuthering Heights here that was gifted to me for my birthday. It's a cloth-bound classic. I really want to get some more of these because I just love them. I think they're gorgeous. But yeah, I love Wuthering Heights, so love that copy. This one, 13. The Serial Killer Isn't on Trial, He's on the Jury. Ooh, by Steve Kavanagh. I have not read this one. Got Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, which I have read. Then I've got The Painted Man by Peter V. Brett. And I remember I picked this one up from a cute little secondhand bookshop in Durham because as I was walking around the store, I heard somebody say to their friend, oh, I love this book. It's one of my favourite books of all time. And then after he'd gone away, I went and sneakily bought it because I was like, well, there is no better recommendation than people saying it's one of their favourite books of all time. So yeah, I picked that one up, but I have not read it yet. Concentrate with an 8. I've not read this one. I think it's a YA, maybe like dystopian. Okay, so yeah, I have a copy of Re-organising. I didn't actually think that I had one, but I guess I do. I'm really excited to read Re-organising, so that's fun. I have not read it yet. The works of Wilfred Owen, who I think might be like a poet. I think this was given to me as a present as well. I have not read this one. I need to talk about Kevin. I have not read this one. The Power, I remember picking this up and I really wanted to read it, but then I just never got around to it. So yeah, I have not read that. Okay, here's The Rosie Project. Yes, so I said I have read The Rosie Project, but I didn't read the sequel. So I do still have the first one. I will move that back with the other one, so I'll keep that one separate for now. And I've got Mrs. Dalloway, which I have read. I did not enjoy it that much at the time, but I'd like to reread it, I think. Maybe I'd appreciate it a bit more now. I read it at uni, I think in my first year, and I was not the biggest fan. But I'd like to give Virginia Woolf another go. The Kite Runner, I have read. To Kill a Mockingbird, I have read. I've got a little Mindfulness Made Easy book here. I've read some of this, some of it I have not. It's more of like a, just one you pick up now and then. So I'm gonna put that in the red pile. Oh, everything's falling. Oh no. That's what happens when you put smaller books at the bottom of the pile. Right, okay, I need to sort this out. Okay, then I have All Involved by Ryan Gattis. I have not read this one. The White Boy Shuffle by Paul Beatty. I have not read this, I don't think. So that is that shelf there. Let's put these ones back. I am so sorry, by the way, if like my organization and just like shoving things in random places really stresses you out. I understand. I think one day I will kind of come back and maybe have more of like a genre or color or I don't know, something, some kind of organization to it. But like I said, for right now, I just enjoy kind of the creativity of the chaos. So we're gonna keep that up for now. The next shelf has a lot of my like classics, I believe. So that's kind of an organized shelf, but let's see what we've got. Okay, so we have North and South, I have read. The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde, I have read. The Jungle Books, I think I read some of it for uni but didn't finish it. So maybe I'll put that in the not read. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, I have read. The Monk by Matthew Lewis, I don't think I've read this one. The Private Memoirs and Confessions of a Justified Sinner by James Hogg, I have not read yet. She by H. Rider Haggard, I have read. I remember it being pretty terrible, to be honest. 1984, I've read and I love. The Yellow Wallpaper, I have read The Yellow Wallpaper, but this is The Yellow Wallpaper and Selected Writings. I've not read the rest of it, only The Yellow Wallpaper. So I'll probably put that in my unread pile. Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion, I have read. The Crucible by Arthur Miller, I have read. The Bloody Chamber, I have read. Don DeLillo, White Noise, I have read. I don't think I liked this one. Mrs. Warren's Profession, I have read. Fiesta, The Sun Also Rises, Hemingway, I have read. The Trick Is to Keep Breathing. Who's this one by? Janice Galloway. I think I did read this for uni. Yes, I do. I remember this. Yes, I have read it. It was good. Okay, I have another edition of North and South. I guess I can maybe choose one and then unhaul the other one. I think I will keep them both for now just because they're part of the little editions, like the collections that I quite like. So yeah, we'll keep that, but I've read it. Another copy of Wuthering Heights, that's the third one now. Love. Jane Eyre, I have read and love. The Odyssey, I have read and very much enjoyed, but I would like to reread it. Tess of the D'Urbervilles, another one I love. Dubliners by James Joyce. I have read this, but I think I only read parts of it, so I need to reread that. I don't think I read the whole thing. Frankenstein, I've never read. I still haven't got to Frankenstein yet, so I need to read Frankenstein. And here's another Mrs. Dalloway. It's exactly the same copy. I must have bought 2 by accident, so I'll unhaul that one. But yes, that is that shelf, some classics. A lot of these were from my uni days. Okay, we are on our second to last shelf here in this area. Let's get going. So we have got Never Let Me Go, one of my favourite books. Absolutely love it. I've got The Handmaid's Tale, Cloud Atlas again, one of my favourites. Wonder how many notes I have in this. Oh goodness, yeah, a lot. I did my undergraduate dissertation on Cloud Atlas. Circe by Madeline Miller, I have not read yet. The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood as well, I have read. The Penguin Book of Contemporary British Poetry I have here. This one I kind of just pick up here and there. Americana, I have not read. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I have read. There's a collection of Milton's poetry here as well. I think I will probably unhaul this one. I'm not that fussed about it, so yeah, we will unhaul this one. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, I have not read yet. Tokyo Cancelled, I have not read. The Line of Beauty, I have not read. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, I have read. I remember it being not that great, but the quote about the plum tree, the fig tree, has stuck with me ever since I read it, about there being multiple figs on a tree and not knowing which one to choose. Each represents a different life, and the more you watch and try to pick one, the more they all shrivel and die. And it's just really stuck with me ever since I read it. So yeah, not the end of the world. This is a children's book, winner Whitebread Children's Book Award. Yes, I remember why I have this now. So I was doing a module on transformations, basically about how certain like really old ancient texts have been adapted throughout the years. So this one is to do with the Bible. It's a story about Noah's Ark. I would probably unhaul that now. I don't need that anymore. I have another copy of The Kite Runner here as well, so I will unhaul that one. The Mountains Sing, I read that this year. It was for my multi-generational fiction dissertation piece. Loved it. The Cripple of Inishmaan, I have read. The Lonely Londoners by Sam Selfin, I read some of, but have not read all of. The Day of the Locust, have not read. Little Scarlet by Walter Mosley. I have read this, yes. Yeah, I definitely have read this. I probably would reread it, but yeah. And then The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill is kind of like a little memory retelling I have read. Okay, that's that one. Let's put everything away. And now onto our final shelf of the bookshelf down here in the living room. I just have this little notebook here, which I'll probably remove from the bookshelf. A little book for big ideas. Maybe I'll just keep that upstairs somewhere. This was a little book that just has really like cute little inspirational quotes in it. Like, be bold enough to cross the line. Listen to your heart above all other voices. See? Mini Guide to Northeast England. I don't know why I have this. It's because I lived in Newcastle for 4 years when I went to uni there. So that's probably why I have this one, but I don't think I need this anymore. The Night of the Burning Pestle, I think I will unhaul. That was just a little play I did in uni. And The Rover as well, drama classics, I will get rid of. A Fair Way to Arms by Ernest Hemingway, I have read. The New Centurions, I have read. I have a random copy of Titanic here on my bookshelf. Don't know why, but yeah. It's one of my favourite movies of all time. I will move that over to the DVD pile. Dear Cyborgs, I have not read. The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell, I have not read. Hey, I have another Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants book here. Forever in Blue, the 4th summer of the Sisterhood. So, I don't know, I have 3 of them now. I don't know which ones I have. I'm definitely going to have to make this a series then where I read them all. Because I have 3. So we have the Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants, the 2nd summer of the Sisterhood, Girls in Pants, the 3rd summer of the Sisterhood, and then the 4th summer of the Sisterhood. So I have the 1st one, I have the 4th one, and then I don't remember what the 1st one I found was. But yeah, I have not read. I have a copy of The Diary of Anne Frank. It's very, very damaged though. I read it for the first time when I was about 10 years old. I would like to get a different copy, but I think for the time being I will unhaul this just because it's too damaged to enjoy. Beowulf, I have read. Here it is, the complete novels of Jane Austen. Like I say, I really hate having them all in one. I love that it has the Pride and Prejudice stuff on it though, because literally one of the best movies ever. But I will be unhauling that. Then I have the 3 book series of the Stephen Fry mythology books. I have read all of these, absolutely loved them. Mythos, Heroes and Troy, and I know there's a new one as well that's more about the Odyssey. I need to pick that one up for my collection. I absolutely loved these. Every Day by David Levitham, I have read. Fun Home, I have read. That's like a little graphic novel, it was fantastic. And then I have this Give Me a Quiet Corner book, which, looking through it, I mean, it's beautiful. I think it's kind of like a faith-based text though, which isn't really something I'm that interested in. Verses offering thoughts of faith, hope and contentment. I mean, there's more than just faith, I suppose. I could have a look through that. It's not really one I'm going to add to my physical TBR, but I'll probably keep it for now. I think it was probably gifted to me. So that is the final book on this shelf. I have some more books dotted around this room that we need to get to. I'm sure anybody that loves books can relate, but you just end up with like random piles of random books everywhere around the house. So I'll put these away, then we will look into those, and then we will head upstairs to the reading room because I have some more up there as well. Okay, so we have a few here as well that we can talk about. I have the Village in the Third Reich as well. I talked about how I had the Travellers in the Third Reich, and then I also have a Village in the Third Reich. Recently we went to Germany and went to Osseldorf, which is the village that this one is based on. It basically follows a singular village during the rise of Nazism in Germany. Now this is my little edition of Oliver Twist. I got this in a little secondhand bookshop in Edinburgh, and they had some absolutely gorgeous old editions. This one is one of the household editions, I believe. So I think from what I remember, it's kind of how they would read them back in the day. So they were originally published in multiple parts in newspapers, and then they would kind of be bound and put into editions like this. But yeah, I got this one because I just thought it was gorgeous. I will show you some of it. So that is that one. Then I have my tabletop copy of The World of Ice and Fire. Absolutely love this as well. This one was a present for me because I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones, but this just has loads of background information about the world. A couple of these I will be moving upstairs because they are just kind of randomly sat here at the moment. Then we have the First Witch of Boston, which I just finished reading. I need to move upstairs. I also have the second in the Fourth Wing series because I did really enjoy the first one, so I ordered the second one. A little bookmark there as well. Those both need to be moved upstairs as well. So I'll put those in that pile there. Oh, I said I would introduce you to some of my plants as well, so let's have a look. So we've got this little one over here. I say little, quite big. This one is Genevieve. So another hydro plant there. And then I have this little one on my window here. Please excuse the state of my garden. It needs some serious work after winter. But yeah, this one here. I've got my little one on top of my bookshelf here as well. This one is Oscar. Hercules, like I said, over here. And then this little one here. This one is Charlie. And I think those are all the ones I have in the living room. So yeah, that's that. But the final books we are going to go and talk about are the ones in this little book nook here. So I'm going to pull those all out and then come back to you. Oh yeah, I also have some really cool puzzles here. Jane Austen, Charles Dickens and the Brontes. So they are super fun to do. So there are a few in there that were not mine. I've only picked out the ones that were mine to talk about. So we have Stephen King's Skeleton Crew featuring The Mist. This is a short story collection. I've got Managing Expectations, a memoir by Minnie Driver. This was recommended to me by my book group. Lord of the Flies, I have not read. Animal Farm, I have not read. This one is absolutely battered. I don't know what happened. I must have spilled coffee on it. But it's a little history of literature. I got this from a museum in Cambridge. And it was really, really good, actually. It basically talks all the way through from the beginning of literature to now, to the contemporary day. And it has like loads of really interesting information in it. So myth, epic, tragedy, Shakespeare. It moves all up through Austen, Dickens, and then the poets. You've got Virginia Woolf. You have got film and TV and stage, and then some plays, things like that. And then it goes all the way up to guilty pleasures, bestsellers, and beyond. So yeah, this one was great. I really enjoyed reading this. Then I've got Different Seasons, which is the collection of 4 novellas by Stephen King. Notes from Underground by Dostoevsky, recommended to me by a friend at the library. This is actually a library edition I need to return. I've had it a little bit too long now, so I think my holder's run out. And this one as well, Cloud Cuckoo Land, I borrowed from the library. It gave me kind of Cloud Atlas vibes, and I really want to get to it. So I might have to extend my hold on this one and try to get to it at some point. But I am going to add it to my physical TBR, because even if I don't read this version, I am going to purchase it. Same with Notes from the Underground, so I will add those both. And yeah, that is all the books downstairs. So just an update, this is going to be my Unhaul pile. These are the ones I'm going to get rid of. I'll take them to my little free library in the village, I think. So we have moved upstairs, and I'm going to do this one a bit quicker because I know there's nothing I want to unhaul up here. All the books in this room are my more recent purchases, or ones that I've felt like I want to keep in this room. We're just going to do this quite quickly, go shelf by shelf, say what I have read, what I haven't read. So Normal People, I have read. Clockwork Angel, I have not read. The Iliad, I have not read. Vox, I have not read. Wolf Hall, I have not read. Yellowface, I have read. Anxious People, I have read. Scythe, I have read. Vicious, I have not read. The Women, I have not read. Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I have read half of. Really enjoyed it, but just didn't have time to finish it because it was for a book club, So we met before I had time to finish it. So I would like to finish that at some point. Anyway, Beach Read I have read. Thursday Murder Club I have read. The Midnight Library I have not read. Night Circus I have not read. And The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo I have not read. Okay. Now this is just a musical composition book. Then I have another Lovecraft book here that I have not read, and I think that one is also The Call of Cthulhu and Other Stories. I have a couple copies of that. At the Mountains of Madness by Lovecraft as well. Then I have some poetry here. The Night She Disappeared, Lisa Jewell, have not read. Name of the Wind, have not read. Blade Itself, have not read. Tender as the Flesh, have not read. It, have read. Misery, have read. The Book Thief, I have read. Ninth House, I have read. Fourth Wing, I have read. The Poppy War, I have not read. And All the Light We Cannot See, I have not read. Okay, so next we have this little section. How to Stand Up to a Dictator, that is not mine. Funny Story, have not read. Salem's Lot, have read. That video is not out yet though. Children of Time, have not read. The Housemaid, have read. Andy LaRue, have read. Atmosphere, not quite dead yet. Cursed Daughters of Night and the Moth, I have read. That's for my next video about the Goodreads Choice Awards. Dinner for Vampires, have read. Homegoing, have read. The Ghostwriter, have read. The Psychopath Test, that is not mine either. Bat Eater, I have not read yet, but I will be soon. Then we have I Have Never Known Men, I have not read. The Secret History, I have not read. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I have not read. This Is How You Lose the Time War, I have not read. The Alice 6 I have not read, and Small Things Like These I have read. A bunch of these are on my 26 for 2026. Down here I have The House of the Spirits, have not read. Lovecraft Country, that's not mine. The Catcher in the Rye, that's not mine. And Canterbury Tales, that's not mine. Those are my partners there. I may still pick some of them up. Maybe I'll add some to my TBR. Oh, I missed out Dracula and White Knights as well, which neither of those I have read yet. And last but not least, oh, here's my cute little junkyard bird that I got from a little market. Yeah, I need to fill up these shelves. We'll get there eventually. But at the very top here, if you can see them, I have Ghost written by David Mitchell, I have not read. Norwegian Wood, I have not read. Red Sister, I have not read. And then Bibliotherapy is just a little guide to books and what to read when you're in certain moods, things like that. Okay, so that is all of them. Oh, and here's another one of my little plants. This one is called Dolores, and she's in a cute little pink pot that matches the room. So that is the end of me going through each of the shelves, having a bit of an organisation, unhauling some of them, and next up what I'm going to do is go back over everything, put together little spreadsheets and some statistics, how many books I have total, how many books I have on my physical TBR. So I'll come back to you later when I have some more stats. It is a little bit later in the day now. I've had some lunch and I've gone back over the footage and put together some lists and some stats and things like that. So I have that all written down now and we can kind of go over what we did today. So looking at my list, I have a total of 268 books. I haven't included a couple on there, just ones that don't belong to me or that I've bought for somebody else, so ones that aren't specifically for me to read. So in total there is 268, and out of those 268 I have 138 read books and 130 unread books. So that is kind of like almost a complete 50-50 split. We have 51.5% read books and 48.5% unread books. I'm pretty happy with that actually. I feel like 50-50 is not too bad, and it also leaves me with a lot of fun books to enjoy. So I'm really pleased with what I've done today. I hope that it's been enjoyable for you to kind of talk through all the books on my shelves and get a little bit organised with me. And the fun thing now as well is that I can start to slowly whittle down my TBR and my physical library, kind of get rid of books that I don't want, I don't like, and read the ones that I have had on my shelves for a while. I've had a few thoughts as I've been going over this footage. So one of the first thoughts is that I'm going to put all of these 130 books, the 130 unread books, onto a spinner wheel, and over time I will start trying to work my way through those unread books. I'm going to be very casual with my DNFs because normally I really don't DNF any books, but these have been on my shelves for a long time, and a few of them I just haven't picked up because I haven't really had that much interest in them. So if I end up getting kind of like 30-40% of the way through a book and I'm really not enjoying it, I think I will DNF. Normally I don't DNF. I normally try to finish a book right to the end because I want to have a full picture, but I also don't want to waste my time. I want to just work through these books, my physical TBR, and send the ones back into the wild that aren't for me. Anything that I give 2 stars or below, I'm also going to be unhauling as I work my way through this, because I want my shelves to be a reflection of what I enjoy and what I really actually want. Unless there's a specifically sentimental reason for me having one, anything that's 2 stars or below, I will be getting rid of. I think 3-star books still have merit. So yeah, I will be keeping 3, 4, and 5-star books. I've also decided that if I spin my wheel and something comes up and I'm like, do you know what, I really just don't want to read that, I have to unhaul it. I think it's not fair to keep things on my shelves that are just going to be there for years and years and years. I'll probably give myself kind of like a skip every now and then. So if it's like, I do want to read this, but I'm just really not feeling it now, I will give myself 3 skips for those ones. But if something comes up and I'm like, I have no interest in this, I'm going to have to unhaul it immediately. The other thing that I found when I was going through a lot of these books, especially on my downstairs shelves, is that I have a lot on there that I have read but a long time ago and I barely even remember nowadays. So I think maybe a second little series that I might try and do on this channel is to just go and randomly pick a few that I want to reread, because again, I don't want to keep books on my shelves. I'm thinking of something like All the Bright Places, right? So I must have read that when I was about 16 years old. That's such a long time ago now. And I know I've read it, but it was such a long time ago. I don't want to keep that on my shelf if it doesn't really reflect what I'd be wanting to read now, but I can't just throw it away without giving it another shot, because maybe I'd still enjoy it as an adult. So I will do a separate series. We'll have the TBR series of my unread physical TBR, and then I will have a separate series where I go back and reread some of the books on my shelves and decide whether to keep or get rid of those ones. There's kind of going to be a bit of a mix with this versus reading some of my old favorites, because I feel like my old favorites have more of a bit of a special place in my heart. So rereading my old favorites might be even a third series on top of that. I'm getting very ahead of myself. But yeah, even things like some classics that I read in uni a long time ago. Do I still want to keep them? Do I want to get rid of them? But I can't make that decision right now because I just don't have enough information. So yeah, I'm going to be doing those few things on this channel as and when. I probably will get started on my physical TBR first, because I feel like that's the best one to whittle down. We are now reaching the end of the video. I hope that you've enjoyed spending a nice cozy day with me at home, and I really appreciate you being here. If you've made it to the end of this video, please let me know if there were any books in particular that you saw on my shelves that you would like me to read, or that you have any strong opinions about, good or bad. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Thank you so much for being here. Have a lovely rest of your day.